Air flows steadily at the rate of 0.04 kg per second through an air compressor entering at 6 meter per second with a pressure of 1 bar and a specific volume of 0.85 meter cube per kg, and leaving at 5 meter per second with a pressure of 6.9 bar and a specific volume of 0.16 meter cube per kg. The internal energy of the air leaves at 88 kJ per kg, greater than that of entering air. Cooling water surrounding the cylinder absorbs heat from the air at the rate of 59 watt. Calculate the power required to drive the compressor under the inlet and outlet cross-sectional areas. Okay. So first of all, it is a open system. Both the mass as well as energy crosses the boundary of the system. In open system, the volume remains constant, but the mass and energy crosses the boundary of the system from system to surrounding and surrounding to system. Okay. So there is a compressor. Generally, the compressor is used to increase the pressure of air. That is what given in this problem also. The air is sucked and compressed into discharge at high pressure. So here there are two states. One is before compression, after compression. At the inlet, they given some properties of air. One is air pressure, air velocity, air specific volume. Similarly, the pressure, specific volume, velocity at exit also given. Okay, and also the internal energy of the air leaves at 88 kJ per kg, greater than that of entering air. Other than that, they have given the heat transfer. If the compressor is operated continuously, the heat will be generated, right? That heat has to be removed from the compressor, or otherwise the heat may damage the parts of the compressor. So for that, the cooling water is circulated around the cylinder. So when the cooling water flows around compressor cylinder, it will absorb heat. So the compressor temperature is somewhat maintained constantly. Okay. So by using this data, we have to find out power required to drive the compressor and inlet and outlet cross-sectional areas. Okay. So write down the given data. These are all the write down the given data. So first one is the mass flow rate. The mass of air crossing the system is 0.04 kg per second. 0.04 kg per second. Inlet velocity of air is 6 meter per second. Inlet pressure of air is 100 kilopascal. Specific volume of air at the inlet of the compressor is 0.85 meter cube per kg. Then at exit, at the compressor exit, after the compression process, the exit velocity of air is 5 meter per second. Exit pressure of air is 690 kilopascal. Exit specific volume of air is 0.16 meter cube per kg. And the internal energy difference between inlet and outlet is 88 kJ per kg. Then the heat transfer in the process is 59 kilowatt. Why it is negative means here the heat is flowing from system to surrounding. So we have to take it as negative heat. Okay. So then to find power required to drive the compressor and the cross-sectional area ratio between the inlet and the outlet. Okay. So it is clear that it is a open system. So we can use the general steady flow energy equation for finding out the power required to drive the compressor. Okay. So you know that the general steady flow energy equation, it says that sum of energy entering the system is equal to sum of energy leaving the system. That is a statement of the general steady flow energy equation. The sum of energy may be in any form. That may be internal energy or flow energy or kinetic energy or datum energy. These all the energies are functions of mass. Then plus heat. When the compressor is operated, some heat also generated, right? So these are all the sum of energy entering into the system. System is compressor. Okay. Then sum of energy leaving. Again same. There is the internal energy, flow energy, then kinetic energy, datum energy. Along with that, work output. Okay. So these are all the some of the parameters considered in the general steady flow energy equations. Based on our given condition or situation, we have to modify or neglect some of the terms in the general steady flow energy equation. Particularly, the datum height between inlet of the compressor and outlet of the compressor is very small, and also that small effect will not going to contribute much difference on your output. Okay, so we can neglect this datum height energy. That is the datum energy Z1G, Z2G. Okay, the remaining things we can neglect these internal energies also. We can neglect internal energies also, because compared to the output, these energies are very small, so we can neglect those terms. So we are neglecting internal energy and the datum energy. So the remaining thing is only flow energy and kinetic energy, because in the compressor there is a flow where the kinetic energy also there, flow energy plus kinetic energy, and some heat transfer happening. Some heat transfer also happening in the compressor. Okay. Then in the output also we will be having some flow energy and the kinetic energy. Then work done. Okay. So here work done means for compressing the air, we are giving work input to the compressor. Okay. So Q means heat transfer. If the heat is going out of the system, means you have to take it as negative heat. Okay. So here now you substitute all the known parameter values in this general steady flow energy equations. Then we will be getting the value of unknown parameters. In this relation, we have neglected internal energy and datum energy parameters. So the only thing is flow energy, kinetic energy, heat transfer plus work done. Okay. So now the mass of the air is 0.04. Then the flow energy, that is the pressure is 100 kilopascal, specific volume at inlet is 0.85. Then inlet velocity of air is 6. Then here they are keeping the output in kilowatt. So here you have to multiply with 1000. 2 into 1000, the value will be 2000. Here it is shown as 20,000. It is wrong. 2000. Okay. Then close the bracket. This is depends upon the mass of the air. Then heat plus Q is there. So instead of here the Q value is heat transfer is given as 59. Particularly here the heat is going out of the system, so you have to take it as minus 59. That is equal to mass again at the exit of the compressor. That is 0.04 into pressure at the exit and the specific volume at the exit. That is 690 into 0.16, and exit velocity of air is 5 divided by 2 into 1000, 2000. Here also 2000 only. Okay. Then plus W. So in this, the only unknown parameter is W. W means work input given to the compressor. Okay. Actually, the air pressure is increased from 100 kilopascal to 690 kilopascal. For increasing this much pressure, we have to give electrical energy to the compressor. Okay, that is the work input. Okay, if you simplify these relations, finally you will be getting work input for the given situation as 63.52 kilowatt. 63.52 kilowatt. Here the negative sign indicates that we are giving work to the system. We are not getting any work from the system. If we give work to the system, we have to take this as negative work. Okay, so that's why the negative sign indicates that the work is done on the system. Suppose if you are getting work from the system, means you will be getting the positive numerical value. Example, if you take turbine where we will be getting the work, in those situations the value will be positive. Okay, so now first task is over. We have to find out the power required to drive the compressor. That is 63.52 kilowatt of energy is required to fulfill the situations. Then we have to find out the diameter ratio at inlet and exit. So you know that from the continuity equation, the continuity equation states that the mass flow rate through any channel is the product of density, cross-sectional area and velocity. M equal to rho AC. The continuity equation states that whatever the mass entering the system, the same mass will be there at any cross-sectional area in the system. This may be at the midpoint of the system or exit of the system. That is the continuity equation. Okay. So here the density is the reciprocal of volume. So rho equal to 1 divided by V. So here in this relation, that is M equal to rho AC, instead of rho we can write 1 by V. So if you write 1 by V, then the relation will become M equal to AC divided by V. Okay. So now this is, by using this relation, you can find out the mass flow rate or some of the unknown parameters based on your convenience. So here you apply this at inlet and exit. The mass flow at entry, that is equal to mass flow at exit, right? So here the mass flow is AC divided by V. So you apply this for state 1 and state 2. There is a A1 C1 divided by V1 equal to A2 C2 divided by V2. Then you rearrange this relation in such a way that area at one end and remaining parameters at the other side. Okay. So if you bring area from right hand side to left hand side, that will goes to in denominators, that is A1 divided by A2. Similarly, if you bring this C1 divided by V1 term to the right hand side, that will goes to denominators. Okay, so that is a C2. After rearranging this, these things will be shifted. So that is a C2 V1 divided by C1 V2. This is the, after rearrangement, the relationship will become like this. Then here you know all the values at state 1 and state 2. Just substitute all the known values in this relation, you will get the cross-sectional area. That is the, at inlet and exit, the cross-sectional area is 3.98. Actually, we want to know the diameter ratio between the inlet and exit. Diameter ratio between the inlet and exit. You know that area equal to pi by 4 d squared. Area means